Every currency dies the same way. The shocking part isn't that currencies die. It's that almost nobody notices until the collapse has already begun. History hides one pattern in plain sight. Different countries, different currencies, yet the ending looks almost identical every single time. Watch closely. Every currency dies the same way because confidence disappears long before the money itself becomes worthless. The first warning is almost impossible to notice. A currency rarely dies overnight. It begins with small decisions that seem harmless, while people believe the economy has never looked stronger. Prices climb slowly. Experts stay confident. Most people ignore the signals because every previous crisis also seemed temporary at the beginning. Then the pattern accelerates. Currency loses trust faster than anyone expects. And the next stage explains why history keeps repeating the same ending. Stage 2 begins. More currency enters the system, promising growth and stability. It works at first, but the hidden cost appears much sooner than expected. People celebrate stronger markets and easier money. Almost nobody asks one dangerous question. Where did all this new currency come from? Every currency dies the same way. It always starts with confidence, then quiet expansion, and finally a problem nobody can stop once it begins. Each new currency unit reduces the value of every older one. The change feels tiny today, but tomorrow it becomes impossible to ignore. Prices climb faster. Savings lose power. Most people blame everything except the real cause hiding beneath the entire financial system. Now the pattern becomes impossible to hide. The next stage is where almost every currency truly begins to die, and history repeats again. People finally notice something feels wrong. Prices rise faster, confidence weakens, and the same currency suddenly buys much less than before. Fear spreads quietly. Families rush to spend money before it loses more value. That's when the cycle becomes much harder to stop. Every currency dies the same way. Trust disappears first, then spending changes, and finally panic spreads faster than any government can control. Businesses raise prices to survive. Workers demand higher wages. Each reaction creates another problem, pushing the currency even closer to collapse. Leaders promise the crisis is temporary. History has heard those promises before, and the ending has rarely been different. Now the final stage is approaching. What happens next has destroyed countless currencies throughout history, and this pattern never truly disappears. Now confidence breaks completely. Once people stop trusting a currency, restoring that trust becomes far harder than creating the crisis itself. Money leaves savings and races into anything that seems safer. The faster people escape currency, the faster the entire system weakens. Every currency dies the same way. It doesn't collapse because paper changes. It collapses because millions of people stop believing in its value. Governments introduce new plans, new rules, and fresh promises. For a moment, hope returns, but the underlying problem never truly disappears. History repeats this ending across centuries. Different flags, different leaders, different currency, yet the same final pattern appears again. One final question remains. If every currency dies the same way, what survives after trust disappears? The answer changes everything. When trust disappears, people stop protecting currency. They begin protecting purchasing power instead, and history shows that decision changes everything. Some choose gold, others choose land, businesses, or new assets. The choice matters less than one simple fact. They no longer trust currency. Every currency dies the same way. The names change, the countries change, but the pattern repeats because human behavior never really changes. The biggest surprise isn't that currencies die. It's how predictable the process becomes once you recognize the warning signs hiding in plain sight. Next time someone says, "This time is different," remember history heard those exact words before almost every major currency collapse in modern history. Every currency dies the same way. The question isn't whether the pattern exists. The question is whether you'll recognize it before everyone else does.